The Big Bang Theory universe has had its fair share of quirky, brilliant, and sometimes frustrating characters. While the spotlight often falls on Sheldon Cooper and his eccentric gang, there's an interesting case of duality that few actors get to experience, playing two completely different roles in the same universe. Lance Barber is one such actor, portraying two drastically different characters in The Big Bang Theory, TPBT, and its prequel, Young Sheldon. At first glance, this might seem like a mere casting coincidence, but Young Sheldon took this duality and turned it into something more significant and rewarding for fans. What could have been an inconsistency or an oversight became a clever and meaningful experience that deepened the lore of the TVBT universe. Let's explore how Lance Barber managed to play two different characters, and why Young Sheldon made his presence so worthwhile. Lance Barber's first appearance, The Unforgettable Bullies of Pasadena. Lance Barber's first introduction to the Big Bang Theory wasn't as a beloved family man or a sympathetic father figure. Instead, he played the infamous Jimmy Speckerman, Leonard Hofstadter's childhood bully. Jimmy appears in Season 5, Episode 11, The Speckerman Recurrence, and is portrayed as an overgrown, somewhat clueless adult who, despite years passing, still embodies the essence of a classic bully. The episode centers around Leonard receiving a Facebook message from Jimmy, who asks to meet up, giving Leonard a chance to confront his past tormentor. However, when they reunite, Jimmy seems oblivious to the trauma he caused, insisting that he was just joking all along. While the episode primarily serves as a comedy-driven flashback to Leonard's painful high school years, it also explores the idea that bullies don't always grow or change. Jimmy remains largely the same, self-absorbed, physically imposing, and manipulative. Fans remember him as an exaggerated stereotype, but the performance stuck out. For those who noticed Lance Barber's distinctive presence, it was an unexpected moment years later when he returned to the TVBT universe in Young Sheldon. Lance Barber's second act, George Cooper Sr. When Young Sheldon was announced, fans were excited to explore the childhood of the socially awkward yet brilliant Sheldon Cooper. While Jim Parsons, the original Sheldon, continued to narrate, new actors were brought in to play Sheldon's family, including his father, George Cooper Sr. enter Lance Barber, stepping into a completely new role. Unlike Jimmy Speckerman, George Cooper Sr. is a complicated and nuanced character. In The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon often describes his father in a negative light, painting him as a beer-drinking, unfaithful, neglectful man who died when Sheldon was just a teenager. However, Young Sheldon offers a very different perspective, one that makes George a deeply sympathetic character. Barber's portrayal of George Sr. is not that of an irresponsible deadbeat, but rather a hardworking, well-intentioned, and sometimes overwhelmed father. He genuinely loves his family and tries to be a good parent, but he struggles with the expectations placed upon him. He is caught between raising a child as intellectually advanced as Sheldon and maintaining a connection with his other children, Georgie and Missy, who need their father in different ways. This role gave Barber a chance to showcase depth and emotional complexity that Jimmy Speckerman never had. Instead of being an arrogant antagonist, he became one of the most human and relatable figures in Sheldon's upbringing. From bully to beloved. Why this dual casting was so perfect. The stark contrast between Jimmy Speckerman and George Cooper Sr. could have been jarring for audiences. But Young Sheldon made it work so well that it ultimately became a rewarding experience for fans of both shows. Here's why. 1. A redemption arc through casting. While Jimmy Speckerman was irredeemable, George Cooper Sr. was quite the opposite. Fans of TBBT might have originally associated Barber with the obnoxious bully, But his portrayal of George Sr. allowed him to completely reinvent himself in the TBBT universe. His performance in young Sheldon was layered with warmth, humor, and struggles that made viewers genuinely care about his character. For longtime fans, this was a subtle but meaningful redemption. Watching Barber play a caring father softened the memory of his earlier role as Jimmy Speckerman, offering an interesting contrast between the actor's two roles. 2. Challenging Sheldon's perspective. Throughout TBBT, Sheldon often spoke poorly of his father, painting him as an unfaithful and distant parent. However, young Sheldon adds complexity to this narrative. While hints of George's flaws exist, the show also highlights his dedication as a family man.